And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the annual Friyay stream that we do. You could be watching from anywhere around the country or the world or anywhere in the galaxy, and I appreciate it. Coming to you from the spaceship studios from a galaxy far, far away. Alright, so we are going to be talking about some different stuff, a variety of different things, including the weather and other topics, and now I'll switch it over so everybody can see me. Okay, we're going to go here. Alright, we're going to switch this over. So we're going to go right here. Alright. Hello to me, Alien Spaceship. Welcome. It has been a very interesting week, an interesting week of trials. So, alright, so what I'm going to be doing now is getting the game ready, and we'll go on from there. Alright, let's see. Hello, Five Cats. Oh, Five Cats. Well, I'm glad to hear that you just finished Late Night Express. Alright, well, that's great. Perfect timing indeed. Scared. Alright, so now we'll be going to the other part. Let's see. Alright. The game is launching. Alright, so and then we play the game in the beginning, and then as the stream goes on we will do the talk about all kinds of different stuff. Alright. Game is launching. So Midnight Express the movie, have you seen it? I have never seen Midnight Express. No. And I knew you were referring to a movie. I just I've not seen that one before. Oh. All right, so all right, now we will proceed to go into the world of the pirate game. All right. Gracious greetings to you too, Eugene. Welcome. Glad that you could make it. A shout out to everybody that is subscribed to the channel and those allies that are on other channels that may not be here yet. In general. Yeah, scared. Hello, Gloria. Great to see you. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here too. So we have you said the wrong name first. That's why I put it in caps. I said Midnight Express. That's what I said. Or at least I thought I said Midnight Express. What did I say? Anyway. Yeah, so we're going to go and do the ship sinking. Yeah, so today it was interesting. We had another day of the Karen Reed trial where we had maybe there was a misunderstanding. Maybe it sounded like I said Late Night Express, but I believe I said Midnight Express, but okay, thanks. All right. I thought I said Midnight Express. So basically, it was another day of cringe for Karen Reed, and we had our people in our trial, and we had more people trolling. Oh, they sunk me immediately. Well, they hit me with some heavy ammunition. There's a certain thing where they could hit the ship with something heavy. So that is what happened right there. It happens to all ships, but so I have to go back with the other ship and sink it. Okay, so we're gonna get out of here and go back and sink that ship. All right. Scared. Yeah, so there was some trolling going on. They were trying to troll GSI 8, but she was able to put them in their place. Then what happened? She she was doing very well in the chat with me and other people discussing the case. I like her take on the different stuff. Then what happened? You know, they had people in the stand. They were showing the different text messages, and they're real like cringe messages. And chat was being very hilarious about it. But you know, as I said, it's just this ongoing debate if she's guilty or innocent, and it's causing a lot of emotions. Yeah, that's right. It's a Timu ship. That's true. And then you have hello, Cecil. It's great to see you, buddy. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, and then there's the stabbing trial. Also was watching. I watched part of that trial. You know, that trial isn't as popular as the one going on, the Karen Reed one. All right, so five cats are making mountains out of molehills. It's like it doesn't really matter, but thank you for telling me what the correct name of the movie is. All right. So anyway, basically, I what we were, so with the Karen Reed, it was more of the kind of the same thing, but people were, you know, there's a lot of trolls in there, and then Moki thinks that there's paid bots in that one, and it's an ongoing trial, and people are still not really certain about. Some people don't know. Some people are guilty. Some people are innocent. Think that she's innocent, and you know, GSI was telling me earlier that you could make something look like something it's not. Then what you could do is you can go and say, like, what she's an attorney, and basically what they could do is they could make something look like it's not. So say there's some bad oh, they sunk it. They sunk it again. But I sunk them this time. I sunk them that time, but they also sunk me in return. So it was a mutual destruction. Yeah, yes, the one that you're referring to, Gloria, is a sad trial. That's true. Yes. Yeah, so I believe she's referring to because Gloria does not like to go to the Karen Reed trial. That's something she's not interested in. And I don't blame her. Because there's just a lot of division. In the stabbing trial, yeah, it's a very messed up situation over there. Then we have. Okay, Cecil. The thing with the way the ship. It will sink any ship in the game. It's not any. No matter how powerful your armor is, it'll sink the ship. It doesn't matter. And I have the best armor you could have in the game. It doesn't matter, like the most powerful ship, it would sink. It was just the way the game's designed. The game designed some Timu ships, but I did sink it before it sunk me. Scared. Gloria says, I'm there listening to Karen Reed today. The drama Karen Reed is a whole soap opera. Yeah. Okay, so you were there today listening. Okay, so yeah, it is a soap opera. And I play clown music in the background when I listen to Karen Reed's trial. That's what I do. I listen to the clown music in the background. It's basically circus music. and it fits perfectly. So, yeah, they had they're interviewing the different police people, and it was a complete soap opera. Yeah, and then Cecil saying the reading of the text between KR and Higgins was crazy. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, Tears of a Clown. Yes, and that's also a lyric from Eminem. Yeah. So hello, Steve. Good to see you, buddy. All right. So also, yeah, it was yeah, complete soap opera, and the chat is another soap opera that's separate from that one. So, yeah, G was telling me that she she was taught in school in college how they can go and make something like they could read a whole book and they could paint a different picture about it, like it looks like it's something but it's not. So that is something that they can do in those movies. They can go and not movies but in those cases the attorneys can, like, someone's innocent, like someone is innocent or guilty, they can make the person look innocent or guilty. It's basically like a lot of tricks. That's what she was telling me. So, like she said, she can make Karen Reed look guilty or innocent, but it doesn't mean she's actually innocent or guilty. Yeah, shout out to Moki. Shout out to Moki. Oh, Five Cats says, "Is that mountain in the background, or a molehill, or are my binoculars playing with my eyes? I can't see R." Which one are your? It was. It was probably a molehill, a Timu molehill. That's what you're referring to. Because the binoculars, depending how you are viewing something, can make something look bigger than it is. And on Raven's Cove, they have a lot of Timu molehills. So that is something that she was telling me. But with G was, G said that in the trial, she wants to figure out what the truth is exactly. If she's really guilty or innocent, that's what she's trying to weigh out. Because she could make her look innocent or guilty, but it doesn't mean it's true. So she said for the defense, Reed having the opportunity of the opportunity to the way that the police force handled that case, it makes it look very bad. It makes the case look really bad, and it's ammunition for the defense because the way that they mishandled the case. That's what G was also saying, because you could make it look like she's more innocent by the way they butchered the case. So it's best for the police people to handle it better than what they did. Hello, Silver Fox. Good to see you. All right. Five Cats says, I got a Timu bucket the other day. Oh, well, that's great. That's great. Yeah, shout out to Timu. There's a lot of Timu ships out here, I'm thinking. Yeah. All right. Eugene says, still bothering me about the phone propped up against a pillow. I can watch and type. Oh. Then there's the other trial, the stabbing trial. They're saying at first that the defendant was schizophrenic. Now what they're saying is the defendant didn't do it at all. So it seems like that other case is being more confusing. Cecil says, and 3 very large pieces of taillight that were missed in the first time makes you wonder. Exactly. And Cecil, that with the headlight thing, because G was asking about that earlier, and with Caraville, the last time he was here, he was able to do research. We're like reviewing the case, and yeah, so she bumped the vehicle and it shattered the light. Then they allegedly brought it somewhere else to make it look worse than it was. So yeah, the inconsistency, Cecil, is certainly a problem in the case. It just doesn't make any sense. Absolutely, it does make you wonder, for sure. Faux show. Oh, hello, Moki. This is great that you're able to tell us hello. I didn't know if you're able to make it or not, so it's nice to see you here, Moki. Yeah, so we're talking about the just reviewing about what happened today in chat, reviewing in general. Also, since I want to also mention about the weather. So, one thing I'll say since Moki's here is that Moki, when G was doing great today in chat, basically in chat, G was talking about how the defense can make Reed look guilty or innocent, but it doesn't necessarily mean she's guilty or innocent. So they can make it look a certain way, but that doesn't mean she's innocent. And also, Moki, if she's found innocent, it doesn't mean she's actually innocent. Exactly, Moki. That is completely, trashy about it. Hello, Regina. Good to see you. We're talking about trials and also a couple other things because these are some other people that I know from another stream, by the way. So shout out to Regina. And yeah, so Five Cat says, does your gut tell you she hit him or not? I think that's a good question. I have a feeling, actually. So the other day, what I was talking about was it's possible she did it on purpose and she did it to make it look like she didn't do it. I just think that there's more to this than what we're seeing. And it may be more likely that she may have done it, but I also want to weigh out the conclusions that are there. So say there's stuff going on with evidence and proof and stuff. The gut is important. It's like a second brain. It's very important what the gut tells you. But as I said, I don't quite think that these conspiracies that they're saying are true. About her hitting him or not, I don't really know what to think. Court TV posted it. Oh, good lord. I'm scared. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hilarious. Thank you, Five Cats, for the compliment. But yes, he is a good lawyer. He is doing a good job at defending her. Like G was telling me before that the defense has a lot to work with because the way the police force handled it. But, that doesn't mean that she's actually innocent, technically. But there seems to be areas where he could support either way. Oh, hello. Okay, Regina, understood. Moki, I saw the text earlier. I was not in the chat with y'all, but I did see the texts. Yeah, they were cringe. I'm like, what on earth? You know, what a lovely thing to wake up to. Yeah, definitely 8th graders. Scared. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to go and parlay this thing. She wanted to hurt John by using Higgins. Poor sap. Yeah, that's cringe. Alright, now we're going to Doc. Now we're going to Doc. So, yeah, we don't... Okay, so I want to make clear about another position about the trial, and Moki says she wanted to hurt John by using Higgins. Poor sap. Not just mentally, exactly. And the witness got right into the swing of things. Eventually, the text reading, yes. Exactly, Steve. So I'm going to talk about what I talked about very late last night. Very late last night to Rebecca, and a new friend, Sam, was there. So I think that there's a lot of speculation in this case. This is the case of speculation. When we're speculating about this, so we go to try to see if she did it, and there's evidence to show that she may have done this. That she was trying to get at her boyfriend, that he was gonna break up with her, and she was gonna pull off a Monica Cementelli and get rid of him. Then what happens next is we don't know for sure exactly, because the burden of proof has to be there. Then the next part, she was framed. So talking to GSI-8, and shout out to her, very brilliant woman, she was talking about how the conspiracy is very far-fetched, but it doesn't mean it's not true, because I was also saying that a lot of conspiracy theories are found out to be true later. But it's a far-fetched conspiracy theory that 200 plus people will go out of their way to frame this average Jane, unless he was doing some case that they're trying to cover up. That's another speculation. And there's not really, the scintilla of proof is not there. A scintilla of evidence. It's just you have to have the slightest spark of it to be there. And I hear you, Five Cats. Very good points. And also Moki, too. So that is another part. But then again, another speculation. Then there's this other thing that was brought up, that it was a hit and run. Then you have nobody to show that it's there, so they went and framed her because they couldn't find who exactly did it. So they just said she did it. Or the snowplow person, but they decided to go with her. Another speculation. And usually when somebody's girlfriend or spouse gets affected, they usually have correct me if I'm wrong, the spouse as the main, or the other significant person as the main person that may be a suspect in the case, usually. Now, that's again another speculation. So another dead end. So when I say speculation, it's a dead end. Then the other part, which could be true, is that she was very calculating and very intelligent, and she did it on purpose. She did it in such a way where anywhere you would look, there's a dead end. Now, another user, an NPC in the chat, it was a person y'all don't even know. It was a user in the chat. She told me that her friend got hit by a vehicle, and it has the same type of markings as her friend. So John O'Keefe was likely hit by a vehicle, and that's the type of marks that they have on there. It wasn't a dog attack. That's what it looks like when someone gets hit by a car. But her friend thankfully survived. So then that she calculated it strategically where anywhere somebody would look, there's a dead end. Now, the most likely scenario possibly could be she hit him by mistake, but there's no burden of proof, and the circumstantial evidence. And then Alan was saying that because the way they conducted the investigation, there's reasonable doubt. And I'm also judging this from a legal perspective that may not be something that doesn't necessarily give justice, because if she really did it, it would give her an opportunity to be found innocent when she's not. The burden of proof isn't like there to convict her. But I think that as this trial goes on, we may see a change. Especially that it seems that he was hit by the vehicle instead. But as I said, they need to conduct these investigations correctly. So one reason why I think it's possible she may have done it on purpose was there's so many dead ends. It was so cleverly done where anywhere you look, there's a dead end. And Moki has an excellent point. Why would a cop put a body on his own front yard? Exactly. That's exactly a good point, Moki. Why would they do that? Because it would just be framing themselves. Now, somebody could argue, were they doing it to make it look like if somebody would do that, you wouldn't think they were the ones that did it, because they wouldn't put it on their own lawn, so they would do it to look like the conspiracy is true. But as I said, I agree with you, Moki. It's ridiculous. Then they would have, and Moki, also they would have to strategically place the body in a certain spot where it looks like she hit him, to know where she would be, where she would pull up, to make it look like that. So as I said, it's very far-fetched. But very good question. And Moki says she hit him on purpose, but didn't realize how bad he was hurt until later. Then she panicked. Okay. So she did it out of, anger, spite, and she didn't know how lethal it would be. But I'll tell you, as smart as she is, she went to university. She's a professor. She worked at Fidelity. Now, y'all are smart, and we're smart, too. I'm just saying that she was educated, but it doesn't mean she has street smarts. It doesn't mean she is an intelligent person overall. So when you hit someone with a vehicle, even if you think you didn't hit them hard, it's like stepping on an ant. It would be lethal. So, yeah, she definitely panicked because she didn't realize how stupid she was. So as I said, it seems like it doesn't look quite... we got Alan in here now. Facts. All right. Hello, Billy. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, Alan's in here now, and he could say his position about this matter. Facts. And then Five Cats says, I think he slipped Moki, and she didn't realize he was behind her car. He probably grabbed the back of the vehicle to climb back up. And look, as I said, she may have done it by mistake. And I was talking to not Moki, but G, about what I was talking to Caraville about. And what y'all about last time. And she also made her refutation about it. It was also very good. So as I said, when I talk about different theories, I'm just seeing what both sides are saying. As I said, this is a very good mental exercise for me. Watch this, Cecil. Watch this. Instantly, I get deleted by the Phantom. With a Temu pirate got himself knocked out. Shout out to Alan. Yeah, so Moki, very good point. So, why would they put the body on his own front lawn? Right. Moki said she called her dad and looked for a lawyer before John was even found, who calls the elderly parents in the wee hours in the morning. Exactly, Moki. It makes no sense. Right. It makes you wonder. And then also just for everybody that's coming in, Karen flipped off. Getting flipped off during the court. And Alan says, at this point in the KR trial, I don't care if she did it or not. The investigation or lack thereof presents so much reasonable doubt that she should not be convicted. So yeah, Alan, and I was saying that the burden of proof isn't there to convict her exactly because you have to have a reasonable doubt that she did it. That's another thing. And I mentioned, Alan, what you said, and also the burden of proof isn't there. And if these police force is and the police force was conducting the trial, not the investigation incorrectly, there could be somebody in a future incident that is not guilty and they're found, and the investigation that this police force will conduct will be corrupted. So I think that this police force over there needs reform, definitely, because they shouldn't, do that to somebody else. So I understand your position, Alan. Yeah. Moki says, I'll be happy to not hear house long anymore. Right. Yeah. So, and as I said, with the Reed chat, the people there are just horrendous. They're trolling GSI today. They were trolling. They were trolling everybody. And if you have a different opinion, they go and attack you. Alan says the witness today was Proctor's supervisor. He should have been investigated along with Proctor. They both are corrupt. I've never seen anything like this. Exactly, right. And corruption, because the thing about corruption, no matter what you think of the Reed case, the corruption could cause another innocent person to be convicted. And who knows how many people have been convicted already that were not guilty. Right. Milky says she didn't do herself any favors with those documentaries. Yes, and Moki, you saw a documentary on Karen Reed, and you despised her. So it sounds like her character has some flaws in it, especially if she's flicking off a witness on the stand, very immature, of KR to do. Yeah, the documentaries are ridiculous. Like, why would she do something like that? It doesn't make any sense for her to go and have a documentary about herself when she's on trial. It doesn't make her look good. With the documentary, you're not supposed to go in the trial. In the trial today, you're not supposed to go and do a documentary while you're on trial, and she just makes herself look bad. So Moki, I totally agree. Moki, say Alan says, I totally agree. KR never should have done interviews or documentaries, but even with that, there is still so much reasonable doubt in the case. And Moki has no doubt. This case has out the perverts who look the accused phone photos for nudes. Be wary and think twice. Right on, Five Cats, exactly. So, Billy, you're ready like SpongeBob. I'm ready too. She bankrupted her parents too. She is being like a Kleenex after someone says achoo. Karen Reed shouldn't have written a book about being innocent, but if she did, this is what she would have done. Scared. She would have done nothing new under the sun. Let's make mountains out of Timu molehills and have some fun. I don't know the difference between late night and midnight. I made a meme out of myself. I guess that I roasted myself out of sight. Oh, her memoir is called... Yeah, I hit him. Yes, definitely. Yeah, hilarious. Hilarious, Smokey. Scared. Scared. That was an OJ. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember OJ about that trial. I know about what you're talking about. Yeah. Scared. And also, G told me with using the English language, you can do stuff to get some, like, you could use the English language in the way of talking to make somebody look innocent when they're guilty. You know, so, and also, it's all in art. It's very intelligently done. Now, I'm glad in this case that GSI likes to take the position of the prosecution or another position that's not an attorney. I'm glad how she could go back and forth between those two. It's Billy says it's spectrum talk, but it's actually the talk to get the women all nice and excited talk. That's all I do all day long, unlike some other people. Regina says, it tickles me when you say, scared. Scared. I'm going to do that spectrum talk all day long. And the spectrum is how excited a woman could be. And on the spectrum of getting women so excited, she gets all tickled inside. Yesterday, I brought another lady to the channel. I took her for a ride on my pirate ship. That is a fact. That is something true. I roasted trolls all day with G, along with our allies. I guess you'd call that the best relationship. A rapper sensation. That is me, the sensationalist. I'm flying my spaceship with a cape. Call me Captain Spaceship. I'm eating Billy for lunch with a side of Moki. That is me going audacious. It is funny. I'm hopping around like a bunny. A Timu bunny. Alright. Moki says, not Moki, but Alan says, you think Jen did great on the stand? Are you kidding me? LOL. Okay, friend. We see things very differently. No worries. We agree to disagree. Awesome. Now, Alan, I'm just curious. I'm just curious, Alan. Why do you think that she did a good job? I'm just curious. Steve says you can brainwash people with it. 100% mind control language. With all the food. Oh, you want to know about the food? That makes sense. And Billy, that is true that you love me. I'm a spectrum putting ladies in suspense. You could go cook the food for us. That's what you do best. Better than all the rest. Hello, my daytime co-pilot, Stranded Lifeform. Welcome. We'll get into the food in a little bit, Billy. Alright, so Alan says, I don't think Jen, Alan's talking to me. I don't think Jen did a good job. I think she got on the stand and lied her ass off. She was fake. She's the mastermind in the cover-up. Billy's saying he loves me. Well, you got to get. Alan has the. Besides all the ladies, he has the first shot with me. You have to get in line behind him. But thank you, Billy. Thank you. So basically with Reed, I think it's good to have healthy discussions about it. Now, if anybody wants to say why they think Jen did not do a good job, I'd like to hear that position too, to see the truth. But as I said, we're going to be going on about this with Reed for quite a while. It's a really cringe woodpile. Steve says coli mix probably has Melonius and Aussie in it as well. Didn't delete a bunny. He found and was proud of himself. I do not have room for you at the moment, Billy. Not at the moment. The spaceship's a bit full right now. But room should be made for you, though, because you make excellent food. Very good at that. You could pronounce those words better than I can. Okay? Billy's a good help when I'm talking about the French words and stuff. Yeah, it makes him cringe because I'll have a Timu pronunciation about it, though. So, yeah, certainly would be the number one chef of the spaceship. We got a whole armada of ships right here. All right, and Alan said, I thought the dog Cholo, I'm saying the name wrong again, was a German Shepherd. I'm not too sure what the dog breed was. Scared. Alan says, most of the times the jury gets it correct. I haven't lost faith in juries. I've become a bit jaded about judges and lawyers, though. Yeah, because a lot of people think that the... Yes, you are a chef, absolutely. Yes. I'll get to what you're saying. Okay, so Moki says, I thought Jen was honest and believable. Jackson couldn't rattle her. It made him really mad. He did get triggered. All right, so Stranded has a news update. Due to DJT's cutting BS Guberman positions, there was over a $50 billion savings reported for the month. Well, that's excellent. I'm glad that he's doing that. I'm glad he did that. Yeah. Scared. All right. Alan said, again, we disagree. Jen was shook to her roots when Jackson asked about the dogs. Yeah, when will Eugene get the check? Shout out to the country. All right. And Moki says, theoretically, the jury doesn't know about the conspiracy theory. I'm holding a stick in my hand. I don't know what that's about. Oh, that must be for the pew pew. Now, Billy, are you are we being zombies here? We're wondering where the brains are. I will. The brains are at Timu. Yeah, you want the brains, the zombie. Yeah, well, I'll go contract to get some brains. We'll go find you some whenever I could be able to get one from Timu. You like it, Stranded? Okay, I'm glad you like it. Yeah. You hear that, chat? We're all slacking. The boss said we're slacking. Scared. Scared. Yeah, this ship will do a little bit better in this situation. All right, so Cecil says, but both of those cases, it goes back to what the lawyers are allowed to present with the judges. I'm start to think judges are mostly biased in all cases. I hope that's not true. Now he's ready like SpongeBob. That's my line because I'm SpongeBob. Oh, sure was declared a mistrial. I was not aware of that, Moki. Oh no, wow. What do you think of that, Moki? Do you think that they got it right or wrong? Yeah, so very good discussion, chat, about this. Very, very good discussion. Okay. Scared. All right. Also, there's a war going on, a conflict between India and Pakistan. There's a big problem going on over there. And also, there's been a new pope. All right. So, what I'm going to do now is we have done the game part, and now I'm going to go into the other part of the show where I talk about some stuff. All right. So, here we go. I'm going to dock this thing right here. Oh, Alan, that sounds delicious. Lucky. That's delicious. Here is a video I took while snowing. Do you think you could spot a man on my lawn? Okay, I'll go look at it. All right. Go down here. All right, so I'm gonna go here and look. We'll go right here. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Remy Nas. I'm looking at the video right now. Now, you said a man on your lawn, like laying down on your lawn. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah, I don't really. I don't see anything. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Five Cats. All right. So I'm gonna look at it. Okay. If you now, if you want me to show the chat the video, let me know and I could show them. But I'm just looking at it myself right now. Okay, it was about that deep. I think. Let's see. You probably would be able to see something in the snow. But then again, people could overlook things that right in their face. It's possible too. But it's not enough snow to cover someone completely. Although there is some whiteness, I still don't know if it's enough to. All right, you want me to show the chat? Okay, I'll show chat. All right. All right. So this is how deep it was when John was in the snow. All right. Like when John was buried in the snow, that's how this much snow was there. Like if there is a person laying in the snow, would you be able to see it? All right, there's more to the video. There's more to it. Yeah, you see that? Like about here. You see, that's how deep the snow was when the bro was lost on the snow. It's not as like, remember like when it snowed where I am and it just piled up like a mountain? Nowhere near as deep. Oh, okay, Five Cats. Thank you, understood. All right. Okay. Yeah, so that is how deep it was. And Stranded said it's nothing, just dusting. The snow where I am, it was getting up to my knee. That's how it got to my knee. You see, like right there. You see, that's not even enough. You see, cause me, it's knee. It was like knee high. I was like, you're gonna be buried in it. Yeah, that's nothing. Scared. thing we'll say is shout out to shout out to the spaceship cats. Shout out to the spaceship cats. All right. Not wrong one. Okay. The man is in the van. All right. So I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about India and Pakistan. And before I do that, we're going to talk about some of these conspiracy theories that since Moki is here, I'll talk about it. That's why I didn't put it in the title because I didn't know she would be here. And we'll talk about food in a little bit later. We'll talk about food too. But so let's see. Yeah, spaceship coffee. So this is about Valiant Thor. It's an alleged alien person that came here. All right, the story of Valiant Thor. Visit from Venus. Also, there's a new pope, and yesterday we did some research on him, and his views seem to be like he has liberal views and conservative views. He seems to be kind of moderate. But we'll talk about that. And so this is about the story of Valiant Thor, the visitor from Venus. Oh, you know about it already, Alan. All right, here we go. Tales of an alien visitation have pre-meted the public consciousness for decades, but the astonishing story of Valiant Thor, a supposed visitor from Venus, is the 1950s may well be outlandish of all of them. Who he was and did he sleep in the Pentagon for 3 years, as some claim. Here we go. Let's get right into it. Okay, Alan. Okay, we'll keep that out, noted on the record. Don't know him personally. All right. The legend. I might scared. The legend of Venusian Thor has captivated the imaginations of ufologists and alien enthusiasts since the late 50s. According to the tale, Valiant Thor was a humanoid extraterrestrial from the planet Venus who arrived on Earth with a mission to share advanced technology, promote messages of peace, love, and unity, and help humanity avoid self-destruction. The primary and only source of this astonishing story is a book published in 1967 called The Stranger at the Pentagon by Frank E. Stranges, a Christian evangelical minister, UFOologist, author, and founder of the National Investigations Committee on the Unidentified Flying Objects. So, just who was Valiant Thor? An alien, an actor, an urban legend, an elaborate hoax? Was he on the spectrum like me? And was he brainless like chat? Let's find out. Where is he alleged to have come from? Did he work with America's highest ranking government officials? And are the supposed photographs of him real or fake? Let's take a trip back to the 1950s in an attempt to shed light on one of the strangest stories of the annals of the UFO and alien folklore, the tale of Valiant Thor. First contact. The first Temu contact. According to Stranger at the Pentagon, Valiant Thor, an alien from Venus described as an inhumanely handsome man, like me, landed his spacecraft supposedly named Victory 1 near the town of Alexandria in Virginia City on the Potomac River, a stone's throw from Washington, D.C. One version of the story says that he, along with two traveling companions, were met by policemen who escorted him to the Pentagon. Another says that he politely requested to speak to the President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Yes, Alan, absolutely. Absolutely. We need a break from that. We need a break from the Temu drama. Stranded said, there was once a woman from Venus. She had a body like a that's enough data. Yay, K-Y-K. Yeah. Hilarious. Why did Valiant Thor come to Earth? It was shaped. Leaving aside for a moment the perplexing history of Thor, Venus somewhere between 25 to 161 million miles from Earth, depending on the orbital cycle, is absolutely and entirely inhospitable. The mean temperature is over 460 Celsius, approximately 900 degrees Fahrenheit. Moki, thank you. You could post a link there. You're able to do that. Thank you, Moki, for the information. Also, if anyone wants to email me, that's also in my description of my channel. Just if people want to do that. And has the densest atmosphere of the planets in the solar system. The atmosphere is mostly carbon dioxide. The entire planet is covered in a thick cloud of sulfuric acid. But as Strange's story goes, that where Valiant Thor and his interstellar delegation came from. Hilarious, Steve. The only data I know is from Goonies. Scared. Thor's purpose, as described by Strangus, who also claimed to have had direct contact with the visitor from another planet, was to offer advanced technical knowledge to promote peace and a higher level of supernatural enlightenment, and to warn against the dangers of nuclear weapons, poverty, and environmental destruction. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Moki. Hilarious. Hilarious. Alright, Moki. I have it saved. In the book, Thor claimed his race had been monitoring Earth for hundreds of years and had become increasingly concerned with the state of the planet. Hence his visit. He'd said to have brought messages of hope, urging people to work together for the common good. He advocated for the move to clean energy sources and is supposed to have brought with him advancements in medicine, transportation, and energy production that were centuries ahead of the 1950s science. More specifically, strangers wrote about Thor's composite energy device, which was a zero carbon source of producing electricity as a replicator, which was said to be able to precisely replicate any material without the need to extraction or mining. Timu Trekkie here. Facts. Oh yeah, I like Trekkie. I'm much Timu Trekkie too. Or did he? Did Valiant Thor, an alleged alien from another world, truly accomplish the feats described in the book, which is said to bear a strong resemblance to the classic 1951 sci fi film The Day the Earth Stood Still? Or did he exist solely to creative imagination of Frank E. Strangers? Sure, five cats, go for it. The Legend of Ven Utian, Thor. There are suggestions in popular narrative that official documentation and signed witness statements, including some from people described as high ranking government officials, exist pertaining to Valiant, Thor's visit, but as yet they have never been made public or verified. The most commonly told version of the story was that Thor in the basement of the Pentagon for 3 years and took regular meetings with President Eisenhower, Vice President Richard Nixon, and senior member of the armed forces. He also alleged to have met with a number of scientists and religious leaders, appeared at the United Nations headquarters in New York City, and even attended a church in Alexandria where he preached messages of love and peace. There's also an alleged to be one or more audio recordings as well as a number of published photographs purporting to be a Valiant Thor, but without any concrete evidence to corroborate them. Indeed, the images are widely believed to be foragers. You know, like it's a foragey. That's what it is. Or simply those of normal men who had no idea the images were being misinterpreted as extraterrestrial from Venus. To date, there's no substance proof a Valiant Thor existed or had interactions with anyone or any level of the U.S. government or elsewhere. And also, what Moki is saying, there's an alleged fake alien invasion in 2027. Now, I do believe Project Bluebeam could be real. I also believe that there are aliens that could cause an invasion, that they don't need to do a fake alien invasion. They could have a real aliens invade us instead. But yes, the Project Bluebeam, that there will be a fake alien invasion, that is something like, say, like they'll have these projectors that will project an alien invasion happening, but it's not true. Oh, it's blokes? They're Timu blokes? Yes, Alan, there are some pics of him. Yes. Y'all want to see it? I'll show y'all. No problem. Despite the lack of physical evidence, Valiant Thor from Venus has become an iconic figure within many UFO enthusiast communities. Supporters of the story argue that the secrecy of government operations from the story argue that the UFO enthusiast communities. Supporters of the story argue that the secrecy of government operations and mysterious nature of his visit are consistent with or alleged extraterrestrial encounters. Skeptics, however, dismiss the tale as nothing more than a fantastical fabrication. The lack of any tangible proof, such as photographs or official documents, fuels ongoing debate about authenticity of strangers' claims. Thank you, Five Cats. Scared. Valiant Thor, a story for the ages. Val Thor's legend endures as a symbol of hope and cosmic benevolence. And indeed, many of these supposed messages from outer space, people come together for a common good, transitioning to clean energy sources, promoting peace over hate, and environmental awareness. Resonate today despite the story's lack of evidence. The narrative also aligns with the broader themes of extraterrestrial intelligence seeking to guide humanity towards a more enlightened and harmonious future. Yeah, shout out to the team of ice cream. Oh, he was in a thong like the Timu thongs I wear sometimes. Scared. Overall, though, despite being an intriguing story, the legend of Valiant Thor is currently unsupported by credible evidence. It's widely regarded most experts and researchers of the fields. Yeah, my end is doing great. Like, by the way, like my end, the stream is doing fantastic connection right now. It's widely regarded by most experts and researchers in fields of UFOs and alien visitation as either a complex hoax or as a work of fiction. So, whether viewed as genuine or count or bizarre yet captivating myth, the story of Valiant Thor intrigues and inspires those who ponder the mysterious of our universe and possibly, however small, of otherworldly visitors. Wouldn't aliens rather destroy ourselves and then take our stuff? I don't know. It depends on what their motivations were. They may want to experiment on us. All right, that is the story of Valiant Thor. Let's see. And I will show you all some alleged pictures of Valiant Thor. Scared. We have what's her name? 5 cats. You got some wild friends. Definitely. You got some characters. Scared. Lord. Wow, this is something. These people. This is entertaining, definitely. All right. Let's see some pictures of. Oh yeah, Antarctica. Yeah, I've studied a lot about Antarctica. Hello, Danielle. Good to see you. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, Wonder Woman refused to, and yeah, definitely, and Superman refused to. All right, this is allegedly Valiant Thor, right here, and also that one. That's it from him from the side. Yeah, that is Valiant Thor. All right. So Antarctica. Stranded. That is the person's. Allegedly, it's the person's disguise. That's his human disguise, allegedly. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Hilarious. Hilarious. So, Antarctica is a source of a lot of different conspiracy theories, and I studied all about them. So, we could show some pictures of it that I'm already showing right now, but I'm too much of an airhead to figure out that I had it on the screen already. All right, Moki, have a very good night. You and your family have a great night. I'm so glad to spend the day with you and the evening with you. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Great weekend. All right, peace. Valiant Thor didn't have hair. I don't know. That's the pictures they're showing me. I'd like to see some pictures of the bloke, but I don't know. We have to, that's what they're showing me. All right, so Antarctica has a lot of conspiracy theories that we'll touch more on another time. But so there's allegedly that some of the Timu mustache people went down there to make a base, similar to what they did in Argentina. So when they went down there, they set up a base there, and there was allegedly a war where they had some destroyers go out there, and they went and had some nuclear explosion, or they had some fighter jets go down there. They weren't like the same jets that we have now, but there were some sort of fighter planes. And there's a war that happened allegedly that the Timu mustache people were down there, and they deleted the last portion of them, or they might still be there now. There might be a colony of them that are there somewhere. Another theory is that there's aliens. It has to do with aliens that are down there also. So there's been some strange activity in Antarctica that they cannot completely explain. And there's also about the lost city of Atlantis and that they're intertwined with each other. So that's another theory that the aliens have something to do with it, or they have a base there, a couple of things like that. I did a stream a couple of years ago during my beginning age era of the of that. I did it a long time ago, so we're glad we're doing it again. So we had, that is another theory. Yeah. Yeah, there's also the hollow earth. So there's this theory that there are people or civilization within the earth, and that has to do with a gate into it. Another theory about Antarctica is that, which is kind of true, is that it was at one time a tropical island that existed a little bit farther up north. And it drifted down there because there's evidence for palm trees and tropical life. And penguins, they probably originated from a tropical environment and they adapted through like an evolutionary perspective, or what I'm trying to say here is a survival of the fittest, natural selection, a Darwinistic idea that they adapted to the environment that they were in when they originally came from a colder climate. So there's allegedly where they had these glowing, with bioluminescence, they had glowing mushrooms and glowing critters and stuff in nature there. It was a very enchanting place. There's allegedly also another side of Antarctica where it's completely not a barren wasteland. And Steve says, didn't they find today that the polls shifted? I know Tim Pool put on a video about it, but I didn't watch it. Well, we're going to go review it here, all right? Supposed to enter the hollow earth. Did they find an entire ocean under the earth? I guess that's where the flood came from. It didn't just come from the above. It came from below. That's something I'm not aware of, but we could look into it. All right, let's see. The polls shifting. All right, so this is back from January. Yes, yes. So it says the magnetic North Pole's movement, which is suddenly accelerated toward Siberia, this century raises questions about what's driving the usual shift. This is kind of from a couple of months ago, but we will review it. Okay. Earth's magnetic pole is on the move, and scientists just updated this position. If you are using a smartphone to navigate, your system just got crucial update. Scientists have released new model tracking the position of the magnetic North Pole, revealing that the pole is now closer to Siberia than it was 5 years ago and is continuing to drift towards Russia. Unlike the geographic North Pole, which marks a fixed location, the magnetic North Pole's position is determined by the Earth's magnetic field, which is in constant motion over the past few decades. Magnetic North's movement has been unprecedented. It dramatically sped up, then in the more recent twist rapidly slowed, though scientists can't explain the underlying cause behind the magnetic field's unusual behavior. Awesome, Eugene. Awesome. Global positioning systems, including those used by the planes and ships, find magnetic north using the World Magnetic Model, as it was named in 1990, developed by the British geolo- I got this. Geological Survey in the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. This model notes the established position of magnetic north and predicts the future drift based on the trajectory of the past few years. To preserve the accuracy of GPS measurements, every 5 years, researchers revise the WMM, resetting the official position of the magnetic north and introducing the new predictions of the next 5 years of drifting. Now, it's Alan saying the Earth doesn't move; the Moon and the stars and planets rotate around a stable, unmoving Earth. All right, Alan, thank you for your position. The more you wait to update the model, the larger the error becomes, said Dr. Ahmad Chulat, a senior research scientist at the University of Colorado Boulder in NOAA. National Centers for Environmental Information, the way the model is built or for forecasts is mostly scared and extra pollution given our current knowledge of the Earth's magnetic field. Ah, my dude, Duke Raul. Hey, buddy, good to see you. The sun moves too. All right, Alan, thank you. Thank you for the position on that. The scientists released the models on December 17. The standard WMM with a spatial resolution approximately 2,051 miles, 3,300 kilometers as the equator of the first high resolution model, with the spatial resolution about 1.86 miles at the equator, while anyone can use the more powerful high resolution model. The GPS hardware used to general public incorporates the standard WMM and isn't equipped to handle the other. And many users won't benefit from the upgrade, said Dr. William Brown, a geophysicist and geomagnetism researcher with the British Geological Survey, in an email. You're on a plane, Steve? Scared? Major airlines will upgrade the navigation software across their entire fleets of aircraft, load in the new model, and militaries NATO will need upgrade software and a huge number of complex navigation systems across all kinds of equipment. Brown told CNN, but for most people, the switch isn't necessary. Something I want to say is shout out to Gam Catches Up. That's another YouTuber that I helped him create his stream. He likes to paint these nice little characters. Like, I think he did a frog the other day. They do these different characters. So shout out to him. He has a cool channel too. All right. He likes to give me a shout out, so I want to give him a shout out. All right. All right. Anyway, so you don't necessarily want to buy a new phone just to upgrade an app to a new version that is more powerful, he said. Changing to the new model should be seamless transition for the GPS user, which the update scientists verified the accuracy of previous models to predictions about where magnetic north would end up by 2025, Chaluite said. Oh, Steve, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I appreciate him. The forecast was a very good, and he said so. The new model confirmed that we were not very far off. But why are these updates necessary, and why doesn't the magnetic north stay one place? Now, as I said, according to the flat Earth theory, of this is something totally off. According to the flat Earth theory, Danielle, he's a YouTuber that I helped. I helped him. I taught him how to do live streaming because he was interested in doing it. And this Gam catches up. He paints different models. Like he'll make a 3D model of like a character from a game or a movie or something, and he paints it, and it's pretty cool. Yeah. Magnetic north versus the true north. At the top of the world, in the middle of the Arctic Ocean, lies a geographic North Pole, the point where all the lines of the longitude and curve. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you. Makes the North Pole is challenging as it's covered by moving sea ice, but its graphic location, also known as the truth pole, is fixated. By comparison, the magnetic north is the northernmost convergence point in the Earth's magnetic field, as known as the magnosphere, generated by churning the molten metals in Earth's core. The the magnosphere shields the planet from harmful solar radiation and keeps solar winds stripping away Earth's atmosphere. Gam holds them hostage. Scared. Thank you, Stranded, for posting the link. Because of the convenience, sloshing at Earth's core never stops. The magnosphere is never static. As a result, its northernmost point is always on the move. Yeah, ozone layer. After this, we're going to talk about the Pakistan and Pope. And Silver says that's not how what I learned. The orbit takes 1 year to complete. The Earth rotates on its axis. Right on, Silver. Right. British explorer Sir James Clark Ross discovered the magnetic North Pole in 1831 in the northern Canada, approximately 1,000 kilometers or 1,609 kilometers south of the North Pole. We know now that everyday magnetic north traces an ecliptical path about 75 miles. Since its discovery, magnetic north has drifted away from Canada and towards Russia. By the 1940s, magnetic north had moved northwest from its 1831 position by 250 miles. In 1948, reaching Prince of Wales by 2000, it had departed Canada's shores. Yeah, Steve, it is kind of scared. One fall when it started getting cold, I had thought of what if the planet just floated off into space. I know. That's why I believe in God, and that there has to be something there having our back. Oh yeah, well, Stranded, you are the daytime co-pilot of the spaceship. So you're the next best thing. You do good with the trolls that bother me. You do great with the trolls. And shout out to Sheree though. Shout out to her too. Greatest smile on the internet. Yeah, shout out to her. It has typically moved about 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles per year or less over the last 400 years, Brown said. However, the last WMM update follows a period of highly unusual activities for the magnetic North Pole. In 1990, its northern drift accelerated increasingly from 9.3 miles, 15 kilometers per year, to 34 miles per year. Cool Light said that the shift was unprecedented as far as records, he added. Well, Alan, we've already talked about, we're pretty much done this. The article's over with. It was pretty much over with. Well, we'll talk about the Pope. Let's go about the new Pope. And then we're going to talk about the Middle East. Well, Asia, technically. Because it's like more towards India. Pope Leo the 14th. I don't really know what to think about the Pope, because I have to wait to see how the Pope does and how he does his reign over the church. Because a lot of people online are upset about it, and people that are not Catholic are upset about it especially. That's not even their Pope, but as they say, the Catholic Church was the true thing, so everybody would gravitate towards the Pope even through criticism because it's part of the Church of Jesus. So... Oh, you missed the discussion. We were talking about it yesterday. That's right. Okay, so I think a lot of people, Danielle, are thinking that he's going to be a real what's called a woke or a liberal pope, like they believe the other one was, and that he's going to be very have a lot of liberal policies. Now, what I did yesterday was we went and just researched. Yeah, he missed it. We were going to go and researched it. Oh, Zero, I'm glad to see you, buddy. I was thinking about you. I'm glad you're able to make it, buddy. Shout out to you, buddy. All right, so I don't know what to think of him. I have to wait for him to be in office and see how he does. I have to wait and see. But I read his political views, and he has some liberal views, and he also has some conservative views. So he's more moderate politically. I don't know how he's going to be, and he's not maybe the biggest fan of the Orange Man, but he's not really liberal or conservative. He's more like moderate. I don't know how he will be in his reign, but he was. So we'll get into that right now. Yeah, and also like we talked about yesterday, what Regina is saying, the Pope has Louisiana Creole and Haitian roots, and I'm in Louisiana, from Louisiana. And he has Creole ancestry. Like I was telling you all about Creole, is that the people that are Creole, they're white, but they have a small amount of some black ancestry. I'm not Creole. But basically, anyway, the Creole people, originally what Creole means is that somebody is born in Louisiana that were from France and Spain. So it originally meant somebody of European descent, but later when they mixed with the population of the slaves and stuff, because the Creoles were very wealthy. They're the elite of the city, and they mixed with them, and they create these very beautiful people, these exotic people that have some African ancestry, but they were. I don't want to fall into the poor kids or as smart as white kids thing, But the Creole people, like many people in New Orleans, are very educated and they're very good at trades and stuff throughout time. Now, after the Union came down here and the Civil War ended, the Creole people were concerned because they would be segregated with the other black people, and they were not happy campers about that because they were usually with the whites. They usually passed as white, and they were with the white people. But when the segregation happened, they were concerned about this because they were with the other black people, and I don't know how well they get along with each other. But basically, they identify usually with the white people, with some usually. So anyway, that's a little history about the Creole. And Haitian is people from Haiti, and that is an island in the Caribbean. So now what I am related to is the people from France, and I'm related to the people from Spain. That's not the same thing as, like, say someone that's like Mexico, but it's people from Europe. So I am related to that, definitely, from my father's side and my mom's side. I'm related to Canada through my father's side from Nova Scotia, also. Both now I have Protestant ancestors from England and Germany and stuff like that, but also Catholic ancestors. When people marry the Catholic person, they convert to the Catholic faith, and the kids are raised Catholic. But nothing wrong with that. That's what people want to do. So I'm related to Protestants and Catholics, but yes, I'm related to Italians. I'm related to the French, Spanish, and German, and English, and Scandinavian. I'm all over Europe, pretty much. And also, Sub-Zero. Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, shout to Stranded. Yeah, and she says, yeah, and the Creoles, they speak French too. That is true, yes. Oh, you're a rapper also. Okay. I'll look at that. Absolutely. Oh, you're Catholic. Okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, my dad's family's Catholic. Now, my family in England is English, and they're also part Irish, and they're also part, let's say, French and Italian and stuff like that. And also from a noble German family, too, also. German nobility of some sort. But, so we're going to read a little bit about the Pope. But let's get right into this. About Pope Leo. Thank you, Five Cats. We'll look at it. Pope Leo the 14th is head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the Vatican City state. I have not been. Now, the sun. If you're talking about the literal sun, it's been out for a while. The sun has been not shining on my area. And Stranded will help you out with that, with the recording. I'll help you, as I said, about the recording of video. It is the head of the Catholic Church and sovereign the city-state. He was elected Pope at 2025 conclave on May 8, 2025, following the deletion of Pope Francis. Born in Chicago, United States, Prevost joined Order of St. Augustine as a young man and was ordained priest in 1982. His service has included extensive missionary work in Peru from 1985 to 1986, from 1988 to 1998, where he variously served as the parish pastor, diocesan, official seminar, and teacher administrator elected prior to general of the Order of St. Augustine from 2001 to 2023. He later returned to Peru as Bishop of Chiclayo in 2015 to 2023, Pope Francis appointed him prefect of the diastery of bishops present over the Pontifical Commission for Latin America and made him a cardinal the same year. Well, shower time. Hockey has finished. Good night, Alien, and everyone. Okay, Danielle. Good night to you. Have a great weekend. Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen that, Zero. I've seen that. Yeah, Stranded. You need to get my broccoli. That's facts. That's facts. Yeah. Shout out to Alien Broccoli. A dual citizen of the United States and Peru, Leo is the first pope born in the United States, the first to hold dual citizenship, the first to hold either U.S. or Peruvian citizenship. He is also the first pope from Order of St. Augustine. He is also the first pontiff of the Creole descent. It's making earthquakes worse. Okay, Zero. Scared. Shout out to Motorola. Oh, Motorola has come out with new phones, by the way. I grow corn, I grow spinach, I grow turnips, and I have the turnips going to be coming up too. And also, I have food in storage that I grew. I have it all in storage. I also have the peppers in storage, and I'm growing some more stuff. Oh yeah, I grow a bunch of things. By the way, I grow beautiful plants. Early life and education. Robert Francis Prevost was born September 14, 1955, at Mercy Hospital in Chicago, Illinois. His mother, Mildred Prevost, a native of the 7th Ward, New Orleans, graduated from DePaul University with a bachelor's degree in library science in 1947. While his father, Louis Marios Prevost, was a United States Navy veteran of World War II, first by commanding an infantry landing craft in Normandy, landing at the last participating Operation Dragon in southern France. And also, Strand said he's also into the New Age astrology stuff. And I am personally... Thank you, Strand, for letting me know about that. Now, the thing about astrology, it doesn't mean that there's things that are false in it, but it probably originated from the fallen ones, the fallen watchers that I told y'all about. So it might be true, but it wasn't necessary for us to know about it. So it's a gray area. But yes, Stranded, I understand putting New Age type of spicy religious stuff into a church might be a little bit of a concern. I don't know enough about it to make a commentary on it, Stranded, but yes, I understand your concern about it. Thank you. Points finger at the chat. Just because I comprehend science doesn't mean I can't explain why you chose to simply accept from faith, breathing slowly, and no, I'm not trying to start something, but I'll finish. All right, Zero, thank you. And Zero, I don't accept things by faith. I believe in things that happen. There's too many things that happened in my life that just couldn't have been a coincidence. And I attribute it to God or something out there, the universe or karma or something, that somebody's like in a situation and you pray and something gets fixed or somebody gets healed. It's not based off faith. Like, because I know what you're saying. Like an imaginary person in the sky that people made up. But no one would believe in something that's there if it wasn't there, because eventually no prayers would be answered, nothing would happen. So it would fall out of favor. So I believe that things that I experience in my life, that it has to be real. Also, I don't believe this world could have came into existence by accident. Like, say a computer or a house, somebody built it. I think somebody created the plants and the stars and all. I don't deny science. I believe science was used to create this stuff. And I believe that if a God exists, it's from a different dimension that coexists with ours, like different universes. Like, I don't believe there's literally someone on a cloud sitting there with his arms crossed. I don't believe that. And I agree that's not true. And I believe religion could be used by nefarious people like Jim Jones or elites or for capital for personal gain or to get people afraid of something for control or whatever it is, or people trying to find comfort. Like, oh, there's a God there to give me comfort. I understand that. I know the position about the intellectual side, and I believe it's important to have, and it could be used. But I do believe there really is something there, like aliens. There's UFOs flying around. There's aliens. There's something else there. But with the technology and scientific information, we may not be able to completely explain it. Like, there may have been times in the past where people couldn't explain. Now, I know people, like in the chat, believe in flat Earth, but maybe there's things that happened where people couldn't scientifically explain certain things, but they were. It doesn't mean it's not real. But Zero, you have the right to your belief, and that's fine. And if you're able to see something that we can't see, and we were all hoodwinked, that's fine. And I'm glad that you have been awakened, and hopefully we could all wake up and see the truth, because I believe the truth can set us all free. And I appreciate your take on anything. All right? And you have a right to believe what you want. You shouldn't be hated for it. I understand. I have an empirical foundation building knowledge over nearly 3 decades. Understood. You and I are cool. We've went through the Dunning-Kruger effect valley together. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. I respect you. Thank you, buddy. You're starting to walking up the hill with me, and I gave you respect you deserved. Thank you, Zero. And I want to know and I'm only 27, so any knowledge that you did acquire, if I agree with it or not, I would like to continue to learn more from you. All right. Now going back to the Pope. In southern France, and later became superintendent of the Brookwood School District of 167, Glenwood, Illinois, Prevost has 2 older brothers, Louis and John. Their parental grandparents were Jean Lanty Prevost, an Italian man of French and Italian descent from Setomio, Rotario, near the Turin, and Suzanne Fontaine, a French woman, Le Harvey. Prevost's mother, Mildred, was a black Creole whose parents were Hispaniola, born of mixed-race father, Jose Martinez, New Orleans-born Louise Baquet, rendered Bacot, was also of mixed race. Very interesting ancestry. Raised in Dalton, Illinois, a suburb bordering Chicago, far south side, Prevost grew up in the parish of St. Mary of Assumption, where he went to school, sang in the choir, and served as an altar boy. Known as Bob or Rob, a childhood and friend. Hey, Under a Rocket, welcome to the chat. I am delighted to see you. And also, thank you, Zero, for that information. The Card-Vash scale will be enough for you to begin to comprehend my statement of what does quadrillion mean in a sea of quartillions. Thank you. I have not heard of that before. That is something I will research. And Das Chev skill. All right. And also, we're talking about the Pope and a couple of other things. Scared under a rocket. Scared. Robert. Okay. Oh, yeah, yes. Yes, Stranded. I did look at that. Yes. And I'm continuing to do research on that, but when you sent it to me, I looked at it. Yes, it's very interesting. It's very intriguing about how people with these special abilities are able to communicate. And I think that there's certainly truth to it. And I believe people like that are able to have very intelligent and have special abilities. You know, like basically, so these autistic people are able to communicate with telepathy. And I kind of seem to do that with my. I'm not saying I'm autistic, but I seem to do that with my buddies on YouTube. There's like telepathic communication. Like with Miranda, I'll think of something or she thinks of something and we're like sync together. So, and as Billy likes to famously say, he believes I'm on the spectrum. He likes to always say it. So maybe I have these telepathic skills too. So Stranded, I thought was very interesting, and I think like Elon Musk has it and Zuckerberg has it, and even if people are controversial, they still create something very cool. So I believe these very intelligent people can have these certain abilities. So thank you, Stranded. Yes, I believe that it certainly holds water. All right, Bob and Rob is childhood and friends. He completed secondary education in St. Augustine Seminary High School, a minor seminary Holland in Michigan. But in 1973, earning a letter of commendation for academic excellence, consistently appearing on the honor roll, and serving as a yearbook editor and chief secretary, appearing at the honor roll and serving yearbook editor and chief secretary in the student council and member of the National Honor Society. He also participated in speech and debate. I had my tarot cards read for the first time a few months ago. It was pretty cool. Interesting under a rocket. Scared. But thank you for sharing that with us. All right. So Stranded said, it's definitely a gift from God. Yes, yes, indeed. Absolutely. And also, I'll say that people can believe in any, like in this chat, there's free, it's a Christian theme, but there's freedom of religion. People could either believe or not believe. It's okay. And under a rocket, I always like to hear updates about what's going on with you, so I'm glad you're filling me in what's going on. Prevost earned the Bachelor's of Science BS degree in mathematics from the Villanova University at Augustinian College in 1977. He obtained he obtained a Master Divinity from the Catholic Theological Union in Chicago, 1982. Yes, Rebel, you may come aboard, and Aaron, you can too. It's great to see you, Rebel and Aaron. Hey guys, saying quick hello, but have to go unless you're still on in a half hour or so. Oh, okay, Aaron, well, thank you for stopping by and telling us hello. Either see you in a little bit or on the next one. By the way, speaking of, like, we're talking about the Pope. So, basically what we have here is that 1982, serving as a physics and mathematical teacher at St. Rita of Cassiquia High School in Chicago during his studies. He earned a Lesson 8 of Canon Law in 1984, followed by Doctor of Canon Law degree in 1987 from the Pontifical University of St. Thomas Aquinas. His doctoral thesis was titled The Office of Authority of Local and Order of Saints. St. Augustine, Villanova University awarded him an honorary Doctor of Humanities degree in 2014. Five Cats says, I have not. I do so, but lots of pre motions and the governments tries to keep our minds too busy utilize these gifts. I believe a lot of people have gifts, abilities, and talents, and businesses and ideas to be created. But the way the system is structured, like Zero and I have talked about before, the way the system is structured is to make people weak and obedient to the state, to the government, to the system. And if people were, 100 or 200 years ago, people were more healthy, people were doing all kinds of things differently. But now people are cogs in a machine. That's something Zero and I had a conversation about during his call on the show. Now, speaking of tarot cards, my grandpa warned about that they're dangerous spiritually, and the people believe in them. That's okay, but he said his uncle did a tarot card that the guy was going to get a heart attack and get deleted, and the guy got a heart attack, got deleted. And I think that, in my personal opinion, people could do those things that they like, but I think it's best not to know the future. I think it's more interesting to see what's going to happen. And people could have faith in themselves that the dots will connect in their future, or destiny, or whatever, or God, whatever they want to believe, that everything will work out. But as I said, people do what they want to do. I'm just making my opinion about it. Oh, hello, Cynthia. Cynthia is my aunt, by the way. Shout out to Cynthia. All right. So he is very intelligent because he is canon lawyer with 2 degrees in law. Impressive. Yes, yes. Well, the food was more pure, but there were no vaccines, open heart surgery, etc. Yeah, Cynthia, that's true. The food was different back then. It was based on a different, system. The food was more natural and stuff like that. Yeah. Yes, Cynthia, correct. Now, but as I said, here people they can believe what they would like to believe, but that is just my opinion about it. Thank you, Cynthia, for the clarification. All right, about the Bible verse about it. All right, Prevost's brother John noted that he aspired to the priesthood from a young age. In September 1997, he joined the Order of St. Augustine as a novice, residing in Immaculate Conception Church in the Compton Heights neighborhood of St. Louis, Missouri. He took his first vows in September 1978 and solemn vows in August 1981. Right, there were no artificial chemicals in food back then. That's true. Priesthood and missionary work in Peru. Prevost was ordained a priest by Archbishop Jean Jadot. The Augustinians in Rome in June 1982. Prevost joined the Augustinian mission in Peru in 1985, serving as the Chancellor of Territorial Prelature of Chulacanos. Oh, that is pretty cool, Alan. That's pretty cool. Director and Missions Director of Augustinians Province, Our Mother of Good and Council of Olympia Fields, Illinois, and worked with the Faculty of the Augustinian Novelate in the Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, before returning to Peru in 1988. All right. Continuing on. Cynthia says, I'm waiting to see how he feels about the Latin Mass. That will be a major issue. Yes, that will be. Absolutely. In Peru, Prevost spent a decade hiding the Augustinian seminary in Trujillo, teaching canon law in Diocesan Seminary, serving as a prefect of studies, acting as the judge in the regional ecclesiastical court, working in parish ministry on the city's outskirts. He proved successful in the Augustinians' efforts to recruit Peruvians over the priesthood and leadership positions in the order. During Fujimori Eto, Prevost criticized the crimes committed then President Alberto Fujimori, placing the special emphasis on the victims in Peruvian army, especially the Colonia group during the period of terrorism in Peru, as well as political corruption. In 2017, he criticized President Pedro Pablo's decision to pardon Fujimori and called Fujimori personally apologized to some of the great injustices that were committed. His years in Peru gave him personal knowledge of political violence and inequality, even going so far as to travel by horse or difficult roads to his ministry, commitment to disdain and almost forget the populations and the lamb Ravanese. He also stood out as defender of human rights population region against the violence of the Marxist-Leninist Maoist guerrilla organization in Xinging Path. Also, you have Zero that's saying, I'm being good, alien. It seems most of your chat rather not see my words, which doesn't bother me at all, laughs evilly. Yeah, I know. Scared. Scared. Yeah, I was baptized as an infant. And the church that I was baptized got demolished, unfortunately, after Katrina. And the priest was either from the Netherlands or Holland or somewhere that came here. So it was interesting. Prior Provincial, in 1998, Prevost was elected Prior Provincial of the Order of St. Augustine's Province and our Mother of God Council, based in Chicago, assuming the role 1999 to 2000. He permitted Augustine priest James Ray, suspended from the public ministry since 1991 due to credible accusations of sexual abuse of minors, to reside in St. John Stone Friary, Chicago, under the supervision after the prior residence was rejected by the Archdiocesan Review Board to its proximity to a parish school at St. Thomas the Apostle Church. Ray was moved in 2002 after U.S. bishops implemented stricter rules. Prior General to the Order of St. Augustine, 2001-2003. My grandson is mildly autistic and he can draw like a mofo. He's 8 but is way beyond his age. Oh yeah, very brilliant. Really brilliant rebel. Shout out to him. The singer for Every Time I Die has a sister who was nonverbal. He was convinced she was telepathic. Oh, that's very cool. Moki was here, but she had to go do an activity with her family. Five Cat says, I have an older sister out there somewhere that the Catholics stole from my mother after abusing her. Scared. Scared. Stranded listens and works. Very interesting information. Prior to General of the Order of St. Augustine, 2001 to 2013, elected Prior General of the Order of St. Augustine in 2001, Prevost served the 2-year terms until 2013. During his tenure, complaints of abusing against minors were made against Richard McGrath, a former president of Providence of the Catholic High School, an Augustine institution who was removed in 2017 following child pornography. Yeah, Bubbles is using the cat box. Shout out to Bubbles. Scared. Scared. Eugene, you're right there. I see you, buddy. A $2 million settlement was reached in 2018 between the Diocese of Joliet and a former student who allegedly raped by McCroft in 1990s. From 2013 to 2014, Prevost served as director formation of the convenient St. Augustine, Chicago, first council province of the Vicar Province and Mother God Council. Hey, Ken. Oh, hello. Hello. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's in the box. All right, so here's some more about him. Oh. What happened? He knocked over his little towel, that's all. He didn't knock over any food. And Five Cats says, I remember my mother cried when John Paul the Pope kissed the ground when he arrived in UK. Yeah, absolutely. Through his social media, Prevost criticized some positions from the political left in Peru, opposing the political movements that sought to legalize abortion and euthanasia, or release of people affiliated with the Singing Path movement. He supported the 2018 campaign by Peruvian bishops against pardoning former terrorists. While supporting environmental causes, he also expressed solidarity with the Venezuelan immigrant in Peru, considering the victims of the shortcomings of Chavismo and the difficult brought by Nicolas Maduro's government, in solidarity with the Venezuelan opposition. During 2022 to 2023, Peruvian protests in support of the former president Pedro Castillo, Prevost stated, the deletion during the protest caused me great sadness and pain. I asked to stay in Peru. I even made that request to the Holy Father. It wasn't a time to leave. Did you know it's a tradition for Pope to kiss the ground when he when he lands in each country? I was not aware of that tradition. That's very cool. Maybe. Did you know about it, Mary Toodles? Maybe. Okay. Okay, Zero says, so back to what I was explaining. A card ASSV scale, level 7 being is basically eerie being of worship. Okay, Zero, thank you. Understood. During his time in Chiclayo, Prevost has been accused of covering up a sexual abuse in 2022. Alleged victim of the abuse in 2007 by priest Ricardo Yes Quinn El Eterio Vasqui Gonzalez said Prevost failed to investigate their cause. The Diocese of Chiclayo stated that Prevost followed the proper procedures, met with Anna Maria Quisepe and her sisters in April 2022 to personally attend the victims, encouraging civil action while initiating the canonical investigation, which the Diocese of the Doctrine of Faith. The sisters stated in 2024 that no full penal canonical investigation occurred, and an article from American television agreed that the church's investigation was not thorough. Rebel said, "Oh no, I can't believe it." Under a rocket, says Alan. I don't know which words either. I did not see anything disappear. I'm confused. Yeah, I didn't. Sometimes the algorithm might filter out some things, but I'm not aware about what was said, if it was Timu Su or Timu Yu. Right. And Steve just said one of the hot button topics. Scared. In statements in the newspaper La Repubblica, Prevost said, if you are a victim of sexual abuse by a priest, report it. Journalist Pedro Salinas, who investigated the exposed crimes committed by members of Sadomitium Christiania Vitia, including the sexual, physical, and psychological associated with Prevost, expressed reasons why the Pope Francis ordered him as prefect of bishops, stated that Prevuvian clergy related to Sadomitium and the right-wing political elites are trying to attack to defame Prevost in vengeance for Prevost's role in dissolution of the Sadomitium by Pope Francis due to sexual abuse and scandals that were being near the Francis political theology. Scared. Right, we're going to read about his church policy. All right. Hello, Toby. Good to see you, buddy. Yes, Zero, I know how to contact you. Thank you. Peace out, buddy. Have a good weekend. Church policy. In May 23, Prevost said the Episcopal Yeah, shout out to Alan. Thank you for the compliment, Alan. In May 23, Prevost said that Episcopal leadership should prioritize faith over administration. The first priority is to communicate the beauty of the faith and beauty to the joy knowing Jesus, the Pope said. So what I'm doing now is we're just talking about the Pope that came up. Yeah, thanks, Toby. And then after this, we're going to get into the war going on in Pakistan and India. Amen, Five Cats. Yes. The first priority is to communicate the beauty of the faith and beauty and joy knowing Jesus. His first message of the Pope emphasized the greetings of peace of the risen Jesus, who gave his life for the flock, giving disarmed and discerning peace. He said he wanted to continue the blessing of Pope Francis. God cares for you. God loves all. Thank you, Under a Rocket. And evil will not prevail. We all are in God's hands. And themes of the first message, including Jesus is a light needed for the world, becoming the minister in that situation. All right, his view of women. Thank you, Alan. That's true. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. His view of women. Prevost opposes ordination of women to diaconates, arguing it doesn't necessarily solve a problem and could create a new issue, commenting on Pope Francis' 23 appointment of 3 women as members of the diocese of the bishops, which he headed to note that their perspectives often aligned with other members but can introduce viable and new viewpoints. Right, Rebel. And my view of the Pope is I don't know anything about him, so we have to wait and see how it goes. But of course, approaching him with caution, Rebel. I agree. Yeah.
His mother's parents are from New Orleans.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. That's really cool. Social and political issues. Prevost is seen as a moderate or centrist. In 2025, newspaper La Repubblica stated Prevost was cosmopolitan figure and appreciated by conservatives and progressives within the church. Prevost opposes abortion and euthanasia and the death and deletion penalty. He supported the Venezuelan refugees in Peru during the time of Chicoleo. On social media, Prevost expressed support for the vaccinations during the coup, sympathy for George Floyd and protesters, and criticized the U.S. immigration policies under President Orange Man DJT and Vice President You Did Not Say Thank You, Vance. He also criticized Orange Man meeting with El Salvador President with the Bukele, who offered detention criminals and nationality to deport it from the United States to Salvadorian prisons. Prevost voted in Will County, Illinois, in several elections, including Democratic primaries in 2008 and 2010, Illinois. He also voted in Republican primaries, too, in 2012, 2014, 2016. So he's kind of across the political spectrum. Also, his view on the LGBTQ people. In April 2016, Prevost opposed the gender ideology in Peruvian primary school Corulia, stating promotes genders that don't exist. In 2023, he criticized popular culture sympathizing for homosexual lifestyle and same-sex families. Prevost expressed reservations about sympathy for beliefs and practices that contradict the gospel, he says, and did not fully endorse or reject the Fiducia supplications, a doctrinal declaration covering blessings for people in same-sex relationships. He stated the National Bishops' Conference should interpret it and apply directions of local given cultural significance. I think Catholics are entitled to choose whoever they want as their leadership. It doesn't affect me one way or another. I'm not Catholic. Understood, Toby. Eugene, yes, and 90 feels like 10 years ago to me. The 90s feel like 10 years ago. 2020 was like the lost year for me, but that was okay because I was sick with something other than the coof. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you're better now. Okay, what's going on? Yes, Eugene. Alan from social media platforms. Scared. Censorship. All right. Oh yeah, the '90s. I was only 1 year. I was there for '98 and '99, but I was an infant. But yeah, I know about that year. It was a pretty cool decade. I would have liked to have seen it. Yeah, the '70s. Y'all were optimistic back then. Oh yeah, there is optimism with the technology and the new age, and also that's when the Apple computer was created, and that's when the computers were coming up because people wanted, enlightenment, and they also created the new technology. So something good did come out of it. Other things came out of it that were good, but the computer that we're on, all that came from that time period. But nowadays, a lot of people, I don't know if they have that spark anymore. That is a downturn about it. My high school made jokes about how gay he was, the priest, as Five Cats says. Ah, okay, thanks. All years of what you make of them, really. I make everything out of every year that I'm in. I am glad I'm in the 2020s. I'm glad that I was when the time that I came up in. I love the technology that I have. I'm not complaining. I like the era that I'm in. There's pros and cons about it though. There are no computers in the '70s. All right. Let's see. The Apple One. Let's see. Apple One. 1976. The Apple One was released. That's when Apple started. See, just because the '80s is when it took off, but the process was started earlier in the '70s. That's when they were starting to build them. Then the '80s it took off. So it started a little bit before that. And I wasn't even there. I wasn't there in that time period, but I knew that. But I'm not trying to be a smarty pants when I say that. But yeah, it was in the 1975, 76. Apple, Steve Jobs, and his friend Steve Woz was the one that constructed the computer technically. But Steve was a great businessman to get it out there. Correct, Alan. Home computers didn't exist till the '80s. Correct. Yes. Yeah, the home computers came from the '80s. And I'm glad to have the technology from the '80s. I'm glad that they did that in the '80s. I'm thankful for that tech. All right. Toby says, I started community college in '73. Texas Instruments had come out with the hand calculator. It was revelation and expensive. Oh, I could imagine, Toby, because back then, as I have a teacher, well, he passed away a couple years ago, but they used to do it without a calculator in his time. And it's interesting how they did it. But yeah, I had Texas Instruments when I was in school. That's what we used. But yeah, I'm sure back then it was a mind-boggling thing when that came out, definitely. Stranded said in the '70s, only rich people could afford home computers, but computers have been around since the '50s. Oh, yes, that is true, Stranded. And also Xerox. Xerox was the one that created the computer we have today, but they went and Steve and Bill Gates created their own versions of it. Oh, hello, Caraville. Welcome. Toby says in the '80s, my business had a punch card from IBM Computer for their mailing. Took up an entire room. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Those things were like that, Toby. Absolutely. I've heard of those things before. Toby said we were expected to do all of our math on paper and learn a slide rule if we were doing advanced math. Yep. Yep, that's true. Now you have a calculator in a phone. Like imagine in '73 you'll say that on a phone you'll have a calculator in it. and you can take a picture with it. So imagine what technology they'll come out in the future. It's very fascinating to comprehend. Under rocket, it's all good. No personal computers though, right? They were huge back then. Yes, yeah, they were very big. I'll show you all the Apple one, and we're done with the Poke, by the way. Oh, we finished that one. All right. This is the Apple one. That thing. This is the Apple one, and you had to build it yourself. All right, this is the Apple one. That was the original, and people had to go. It was $666. Scared. So that you would hook it to a TV, a little television thing, and you'd have that right there. And they sold a couple of units of them. You know, they sold quite a few of them. But it wasn't popular, and Apple was just starting out. Not a lot of people didn't have them yet. Oh, hello, Sharon. Great to see you. Strand said we weren't allowed to use calculators in math class. Back then, students were required to think or show work. That's true, yes. Caraville said, highly recommend watching Hidden Figures, a great movie, and they talk about how they had to knock out walls to get new computer into the room. Oh, thank you. I'll look that up, definitely. I know about that movie. I know about that movie. All right, that's another picture of it. All right, this is the Apple computer from the 80s. And Steve said my grade school had Macs when they were called Macintosh. Me too. Me too. And we give commands to, I forget, it was a turtle to move around on the screen. Well, that's very cool, dude. I have a computer, a Macintosh that my grandpa gave me, like the original ones. It's a Macintosh Performa, and it needs some work on it, but it's still there. Also, when I was in school, there was an iMac. It was the one from 2001, and we used to play Oregon Trail on it. All right, so we're gonna show. This is the computer that.
Can't use a microwave, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the computer. It's this one. That one. It's kind of small. Let's see. This. That's the one that I have, but it's kind of like it needs some help. Help. You see, and those are the stickers that go with it. I didn't know IBM had a typewriter. In 1978, my art department got a computer, and the artists began learning to do graphics on it. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. The technology has gone a long way. He was 23 in 1978, so Alien's age, more or less, and just seeing my first computer. Oh, yeah, that had to be a very, you know, great experience and like a great thing to see like what the future would hold for technology. Yeah, it's very cool. Especially it was brand new. And this is the iMac 2000. It was this computer. Like, notice how and Apple brought this color back to the iMacs, but they're different looking. Oh, hello, Wayne. Good to see you, buddy. And under a rocket says, I feel like I can't interact the same on a phone. YouTube never put a mechanism to tag people in there. I think it's goofy what they did. But yeah, I'm glad that you're with us under a rocket, though. So many cello electrics in my life. So many typing jobs in the 70s, mostly women typed. Ah, yes, I'm aware of typing. Tony, the night owl, she did typing.
Can't use microwaves.
Yeah. I'll be.
That's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So that was fun. I played Oregon Trail on it. Five Cats. There is hardly any snow. They called it a blizzard. Yeah. Yeah. All schools had Apple computers. My high school had a mix of Apple and IBM. This is the new iMac. You see, they brought back the same type of color.
What color is it?
Well, they were gray, but now they brought back blue, purple, pink, green. They brought back the old colors they had in the 2000s. Okay. Yeah, the floppy disk. I have a floppy disk right next to me, actually. Yeah. I've used those before. Tron came out in 1982, and I was happy the visual of people inside computers. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's very cool. Yeah. That's Tron 1982.
That sounds familiar, Tron.
Yeah, it was something that came out in 1982. And let's see the original computers. This is the big computers they had. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll show you all right now. Okay. Right here. All right. Can't really see it. It says printing. It's printing right there, and you see you got this is for printing. This is the back. And it says 1991. And it has the Apple logo they had, the Rainbow Apple logo. There you go. Now you can see it. There you go, Stranded, right there. Scared. All right. And that's the Apple logo, the original one. High density. All right. On the back here it says, I don't know if y'all could see that, but it says 1991. Scared. Okay, I'll look up right now. Oh, you're referring to the bigger one, Stranded. Oh, yeah. They have a bigger one. Okay, we're gonna go here. All right, this is the punch card right here that they had, and this was some older tech. This reminds me of Mission Impossible, that TV show. They had stuff like this in there. Go right there, and also right there, and this. Yeah, and then yep, I remember carrying those around school in the in 2000, accidentally leaving them in the library. Laptop I use for trials. Ah, okay, okay, yeah. The computer I'm on is a Mac Mini 2021, I think, or 20, something like that. Remember around 2000, and yeah, awesome, awesome alien. Oh, thank you. Totally correct. Where 65 and 63, we started out chiseling on stones. Sharon, he's telling Sharon that. Yeah, we had deck of those cards at work to generate mailing label and invoices. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. That was before they had the technology we have now. Wow. All right, let's look up the giant floppy disk. Giant floppy disk. Lord. Scared. That one right there. Star Trek of the color disc. Yeah. Okay, so you have this. This is the big floppy disk. I've never seen nothing like this before. Stranded and I, we've talked about this in the show a couple of years ago, but now we're during the daytime where there's more people. We're glad to talk about it again. Yeah, so this is the big floppy disk that I've never used or seen before. Yeah, that's incredible, man. Scared. Scared. I had an interactive notebook. It was math and English Disney educational game. You contour the pages and buttons in every page. You flip every page. Well, that's very cool under a rocket. That's awesome. You know, I like the interactive notebooks. It has all kinds of interesting stuff on it. You know, to do all those different things. And technology is truly incredible. Okay, and Dwayne says Happy Mother's Day to all. Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you, Dwayne, for shout out to all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Yeah. And I remember the fifth, 1/4 floppy. Don't warning over. She can turn my floppy disk into a hard drive. Oh, hello, Aaron. Great to see you. All right. Oh, he's looking at the banana thing. He's looking at bananas. All right. Look at the banana. Well, we'll look at bananas. A nice big thick banana. Look at that. I remember when Windows 98 came out. It had like 13 floppy disks to install. Yeah, now everything is digital. Like there's digital downloads and right from Apple servers. So that is something that we were watching where we had like with this computer, I updated by using the floppy disk. Not a floppy disk. I update it by Apple servers that download it to my computer digitally through the internet. I've never used a floppy disk for this computer. So that's something. And Aaron said, "Oh, hello. We are just looking at floppy disks. I love this." Yeah. Yeah, so Aaron, I was showing a floppy disk that I have. So basically, this is the floppy disk that I have right here. It is. We're going to change the lighting so people can see me. All right. All right, this right here. This is the one that I have from the old Mac. and it says Macintosh. It says printing on it, and also it has that right there, and we have this, and then right here in the back, this is the original kind. Not the original kind, but this is like the one from 1991. So we have this. Then we have these ones from the past when Stranded was the one she's more familiar with, right here, and basically, yeah, we have that right here, and this is the machine that it went into right there. That's a very big machine that they used, and and then Strand said, "We've been through this before. That's not a floppy." Yeah, 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 exactly. We've been through this before, but I'm being a well, actually, Stranded. She thinks that it's not a floppy disk, but I say that it's at least a Timu floppy disk. We could agree it's a Timu floppy disk. It may not be the Chad, the of the popular kid floppy disk that y'all had, but it was. It's still a Timu floppy disk, at least. It's a floppy in its shell. And that is true. It may be a floppy in its shell. Scared. All right. And also, right here, we have this. We have that's the machine that it plugs into. And then Eugene says, I'd have a CDs to get World of Warcraft on my laptop back then in a day because the internet was so slow. And
Dial up. Remember dial up?
yeah, yeah, I know about dial up. And so basically, Miss Catherine was talking to me about the dial-up system and how to wait 15 minutes for the image to load. Yeah, so I remember I was looking at YouTube about dial-up, and Mary Toodles had the 1998 Windows PC. She did, and yeah, yeah, and the other house had dial-up in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the other house had dial-up in it, but I wasn't exactly old enough to use a computer. But I still would see what would happen. So dial-up, you would connect it with a USB cable to a landline, and and it would work that way. Now we have the Wi-Fi. Like right now, the way that y'all are getting this Wi-Fi, this stream, is that over next door there's the Wi-Fi thing, and there's a Wi-Fi extender. It's a white, brick-looking thing, and it's very small. It's kind of small, and it's teleporting the information to the computer. So that's how this stream is being conducted. And that's so cool, an advancement from what they were in the past. So I'll show you all the Wi-Fi extender what I'm talking about. This gives me, that's how I watch trials and everything. That's how it all works. And so this is like an example of the Wi-Fi extender from, let's say, Netgear. It is from Netgear. And this is this is the one I have. And we're going to show you all right now. And yeah, so that is the one that brings the internet over here. And Aaron says, I remember life before the internet. So hard to explain to my daughter, although she asked me if I grew up in black and white. Now, when I was a kid growing up, I didn't have an iPad or a tablet or any kind of thing like that. I grew up like somebody from the 90s would grow up. It was the early 2000s, but it was similar to how 90s or 80s people would grow up. Yeah, Mary Toodles didn't think I needed any of that stuff. So I grew up similar to how some of you grew up that came before.
Playing outside and stuff and not
Yeah.
do a screen, right?
Yeah, so, and also that's why they didn't give me any video games
Right.
at a certain point when I was coming up.
Right.
But later on, I got video games, and I was glad for it. Now, personally, I think it's okay to have video games and playing outside in both in moderation. But I'm glad that I got to experience it the other way, though. It was, because a lot of people these days are Temu people. Like,
I do the same thing again.
yeah. And also, as I got older, I played video games as I got older. And Stranded, it's not hijacking the Wi-Fi. It's based off of my grandparents are next door, and it's their gift to me, to a alien that is just getting by. Yeah, alien grandson. And my grandpa's the one that got me into computers. He was very into that stuff. My family in England does not know about how to use a computer. So definitely the computer stuff comes from my mom's side. you know, and basically like my dad doesn't know how to use a computer at all. So it's thankful for my mom's side for the tech genes. And also, yeah, so that is the neck gear. And this is the floppy disk. Look at this big machine that it comes in. And, so that's what we have right here. Careful said a funny joke. He said, so when he download illegal movies and shows, the cops will go next door. Hilarious. And Aaron said, oh, so your family sounds sweet, Alien. Thank you, Aaron. They are very sweet. And also, Aaron, I tell them, my grandpa likes to hear the stories about the trials and about the, and my grandma likes to hear about it too. I tell them about all of you, and they think it's fascinating. They're the ones, okay, so going back a couple of years, they were the ones that wanted me to do the internet rather than doing, like, college and stuff like that. I could have gone if I wanted to, but nothing wrong with going to college or anything, especially if you're doing a trade. I learned from Caraville, GSI 8, Capri Law, and a lot of people that went to college I learned from, and that's very good, but I like the setting of the internet better, and that was better for me. And also, online, there's so much innovations I made. Like, look, all these people here on this chat room I'm looking at came from different live streams that I was on. And because of you, the subscribers, I have a growing number of subscribers, and my family's very pleased with what I did. And that I did my own thing. And Toby says, the dream was that cities would provide free Wi-Fi internet service to its residents as public service by testing your water for lead and filling potholes. Toby, I think that should be a thing. I think that would be good. And remember Tesla, the original Tesla, Nikola Tesla, he had this concept that Wi-Fi originally was supposed to be for electricity. It was supposed to give people wireless electricity. And we wouldn't have a hurricane problem. We would never have an outage from a hurricane. And another thing that these Wi-Fi things did was that the wireless, he wanted to give people free electricity through wireless communication. So rather than Wi-Fi, it would be wireless electricity. But somebody wanted to make a big profit, and Edison wanted to go make a fat profit, so he went and took his idea, and he made bank off of him. And although Tesla may have done Thomas Edison may have done some things with the product, but it was, people want to make capital off everything. So we're in the situation that we're in. But hopefully in the future things can turn around and people could have what they could get. So Toby says, I've never wanted to a book. I get bored advertising company copy. It's more fun. And Strand said, I think electricity, water, and heating gas should be free too in healthcare. Exactly. Certain things that are essential, essential things are human rights, but people took an opportunity to make capital off everything. Now, I'm not against making capital. I'm for having a business. Like, I'm for selling a computer. I'm for all kinds of stuff like that. Okay? I'm for capitalism making money. But yeah, some things it's good for people to have. And Toby says, all good books need touching up on by proofreaders at the very least. Yep. And Caraville says, Capri Law is one of the sweetest, best humans. Oh, yes, she is. She is a doll for sure. I remember Caraville, I learned a lot from her last year when she was there more frequently about the different terms and law stuff. Oh, yeah, she taught me a lot of information that I applied to the Karen retrial. And also learned a lot of stuff from you two and the other people. So, and Alan says, Capri Law rocks. I haven't seen her in a while, though. Where's she been? And Caraville says she should see her in TLVL. She has been around, but also busy with kids and sports and games. Oh, yeah, I'm sure she's very busy. I know she's been over at that channel, Caraville. I've been there before. And I have seen her there, and sometimes she's also here. She subscribed to this channel, and she's also here with she also comes here too sometimes, and basically with that channel that she is talking about, I've not talked to them over at that channel, but I've been there before. And then you have the it could be law. Let's see anything else. Tell you books and boring. I write them for other people for money, and then I wrote a books. It needs such up pitiful to read, and then you have okay. That's cool. Your grandparents share their Wi-Fi with you. Yeah, definitely. And then you have what's a knee graph event sentence. I don't quite know about that. And then you have the fishing book is so hard. And then you have I like writing longer form but to copy mindset and paragraphs events, okay. And I might write a book for money or write a screenplay for money. What kind of book do you write? And then he says, Toby, I write a bunch of books, various things. The most popular request is self-help spiritual books, which is cool because there's a lot of room to BS and to say fluffy things that take space. Yeah. And also, yeah, I appreciate the likes and the 76 people that are viewing this. That's awesome. Yeah. So also, yeah, I think that innovation, technology, and advancement is very cool. What we have, and then as time goes on, we'll see. As I go older, we will see as how the time goes on. And Steve, that is very cool what you do. That's very cool. Scared. Yeah. And all right, Under a Rocket. A good night to you. Now, actually, we're about to end the show. But basically, I'll say a remark about India and Pakistan real quick. Let's see, India, and Pakistan, and that was the wrong. Okay, India, Pakistan. Okay, we got a little bit derailed. A new kind of battle. India-Pakistan folds. All right, so India-Pakistan says it's retaliating after accusing India of striking its airbase. So a live update about what's going on is Chief Minister of India Administration in Kashmir reports death of district official. In a statement posted on X, Abdullah, Chief Minister of India administered the Jammu Kashmir region, said Raj Thapa District Commissioner in Rajauria was deleted after residence was hit by a shell from Pakistan. So it's heating up over in the war in Pakistan right now, by the way. Okay. So now what we'll do is switch over and do the ending part of the show like I said. I just had to mention that. All right. So good night, Under a Rocket. Good night, like and subscribe. All right. India and Pakistan have been fighting for 75 years. India wasn't India until 75 years ago. Okay, when was India? When was India 75 years ago? Okay, let's see. August 15, 1947. 1947. That's when it was put there. All right, and true, Toby, a lot of my clients have been like self-help coaches and various wannabe gurus and stuff. All right, children's book. All right, so profiting for your good for you profiting off that. Hope you don't need a vomit bag. Hey, Alien, you have covered very many topics tonight. You are amazing hosts in a podcast. You have a bright future ahead of you. You totally rock. Keep it on. The good work.
That's a nice person.
Thank you, Alan. You're very sweet, very kind to me all the time. I appreciate your compliments.
I heard that and I thought it was very nice.
And also, Mary Toodle still is very nice to you too to say as well. And Shranit said India and Persia before that. India was Persia. Oh yes, Persia. And also Iran was Persia too. Yeah, you too, Silver. Have a blessed weekend. All right, so now we're finished with the stream, and I'll tell you all. Hope that all of you have a very great weekend, very blessed weekend, and I will talk to you all. I will do streams throughout the week again, like I did before. And some days I'll watch trials. Some days I'll do a stream. All right. So India wasn't Persia. That was Iran. India was collection of individual kingdoms, and British colonized it. Yes. All right. We love Alien. Oh, thank you. Great night. Okay. Thanks, Alien. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thanks for coming, and peace.